Morning, Mr. Puma.
Good morning.
I'm gonna be about 2 minutes without
good to see
video.
you survive the Bucks game.
Man, that was not what I was expecting last night. For sure. No,
yeah, that was a rough one.
I had a buddy come in town that used to be my next door neighbor in Reddington Beach, and then he comes to town with a friend of his. And I said, "Yeah, you know what? Sounds like a good idea. I'll meet you over in Tampa. We're gonna watch two of the best quarterbacks of all time duke it out." And that was the anticipation. But those of you who watch know that that wasn't quite the way it ended up.
It could have been worse. You could have watched the Washington football team lose to the Giants. So just want to throw that out there. It can always be worse.
Yeah, my Gators won, so it kind of made it better.
Yeah, you always got to find the positive.
That's right. That's what we do. That's what we do.
It is what we do.
So I'm going to stay on just audio for about another 98 seconds, so then I'll be into the office. I got a couple traffic lights did not cooperate with me today.
No
Dropping
worries.
Kai off to school. All right, so let's talk about this week. And what kind of week are you about to have? Because we've got all kinds of distractions that are the drunk monkey is just loving, right? I mean, you could turn on your news channel of choice and get sucked down rabbit holes all day long if you wanted to. You could watch the Weather Channel and pontificate that you actually have any clue what the hell's going to go on with Ada, right? And you got a bunch of other things you can actually take care of today and tomorrow and the next day to justify not working. Or you could absolutely crush it this week and have the best week you've ever had in the history of your career. And that's the choice we have to make right now on a beautiful Monday morning. And each one of us gets to decide that. I know which one I'm going to do. This will be the biggest week I've ever had in the history of my real estate career. How? I don't know yet. But I'm going to talk to a bunch of people and help as many people as I can. And that will result in some cool projects coming together. That'll result in some cool agents wanting to come work with us. That'll result in some of our badass agents getting some cool strategy ideas and to go crush their business and make it awesome. So that's the mindset to think about what we want this week to look like.
Yeah.
So how many of us are actually having that example?
Yeah, I think it starts with that for sure, right? It starts with the mindset. But then I also think we always have to be looking at what does the current craziness that we could call our 2020 world, what opportunities does that create, right? And even just looking at, storm that could or could not, potentially ride right up the coast of Florida, we have to always look at the positive of what opportunity does that create for us. Well, I can tell you that there are probably people that are living on the water right now that are saying, I don't really know if I want to continue to go through this. Every time this storm comes in, I have to step back and wonder if my house is going to disappear or not, right? And if I've got young kids, maybe that's scary. Maybe I'm thinking about now time, you know what? This is the 5th storm this year that has threatened to come this way. I'm going to sell. That's an opportunity. There are people in South Florida
that are flipping the script on me? Are you flipping the script on me and trying to get me to move to Wesley Chapel?
It's worth a shot. There are plenty of homes over here. It doesn't rain. I don't know. These are all the things you tried to sell me on the beach.
Morning.
So, but there are people that are down in South Florida right now that are going to get hit with some pretty heavy wind and rain from what it looks like today. And they're going to be thinking, you know what? Maybe I need to move a little bit further north, right? Where they don't get hit as directly, because for whatever reason, we are pretty lucky here in the Tampa Bay region. We tend to not get hit, head on by any of these major storms. If you think other people in Florida don't recognize that, you're crazy. They do, right? And that makes our market very attractive. So I always just want to take a step back and say, okay, what does the current environment? Yes, it's crazy. Yes, there's a million reasons that we could justify to ourselves to do nothing. But what are the reasons that we should be doing and going as hard as we can? And these are just some of the reasons. There's opportunities that are presenting themselves right now, today, that were not necessarily there yesterday. Even everything that's gone on with the presidential election and what's to come. There are a lot of people that are back and forth on that. Great. They want to leave, leave. That's inventory, right? So we got to take advantage of that. So just there's so much opportunity that is going to present itself and continue to present itself. And the only way you're going to take advantage, though, is if you're in that mindset of looking for those opportunities, right? If you're sitting back saying, you know what, it's rainy today, it's misty, I don't want to go outside, I'm not going to do that. Okay, well then don't, right? And you're not going to take advantage of it. But the other thing to keep in mind is on days like today and the week that we're about to have with all the rain and everything else, guess what people tend to do? They tend to be on social media a lot more. There's some stats that show that on rainy, cloudy days, social media usage goes up more than 120%. Right? So that means you're going to have even greater opportunity this week to connect with people on social if you want to, if you have a need to, if you want to continue to try and finish out this year strong. If you don't, if you're happy where you are right now, then great. Yep. Right? Go cuddle up on the couch, smoke pot, and watch Netflix. But I know for most of you, you wouldn't be on this. You wouldn't be on this morning meeting. The 47 people that we have on there, you wouldn't be on here if that's what you wanted. And when I was at the Top Agent event on Friday, that was definitely the theme. Everyone was still pushing hard.
That's right. Well, we got 3 topics for today. So, past clients, sphere of influence, and let me tell him I'll call him back. Past clients, sphere of influence, and future past clients are the 3 that I wanted to hit on this morning. And talk about past clients, because coaching the agents that I'm coaching with that I see all the time, it's about, are you tapping and reaching out to those who already know you, love you, trust you, right? So those of you who have done deals before, that is your absolute solidified side of the world. Those guys are gold for you. They're worth $130,000 a piece, and you need to reach them, right? So that's the simple conversation. So if you haven't reached out, if you're just doing something kind of marginally half-assed as far as a past client reach out, this is the week to change that and text them, pick up the phone, call them, leave them a voicemail, shoot them a message on Messenger, all of those saying, Shirley, I drove by your house. It's looking beautiful. How are the kids? What's going on in your world? By the way, I don't remember exactly what, but what was your interest rate? Right? Because I was thinking about, there's a lot of people right now, if you haven't, let's talk to your lender and let's see if it makes sense for you to do a refi. Because if you could drop your payment down right now, you might as well. Or if there's any improvement you want to do, that's the whole thing. So I wrote down 3 things that are subsections of past clients and sphere, right? So refi. If you're paying more than 4.5%, 5% interest rates, which a lot of people still have, guys, because that's normal, they should consider a refi. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into it. If you only have 8 years left on your mortgage, you probably shouldn't refi, because that'll reset your clock back to 15 or 30 years, right? But if you bought in the last few years, it's a math equation and it's a personal decision of whether or not it makes sense to you. But you should at least consider the options to see if it makes sense for you. So that's the best thing, to be reaching out to your past clients and saying, hey, by the way, are you, right? Did you check? Second thing, how happy are you with the house right now? The only reason I ask is because your house has never been worth more than it is right now. And so with rates the way they are and the market the way it is, it's a great time. If you want more space, let's go get it. If you want less space, let's get rid of it. If you want a different neighborhood with a better view, this is the time, right? Guys, this is real life. This is not sales pitch. This is you being an advisor saying, if you don't realize you have a generational opportunity staring you right in the face right now, then I'm not doing my job right. You have to have a conversation. Or if you love your house, awesome. How's your kitchen? How's your bathroom? How's the pool? Do you need an office? And get your ass with a contractor, do a cash out refi and get what you want, because it's not going to alter your payments very much right now. Money is so dirt cheap, right? So those are the 3 conversations to have with every past client right now. What is your interest rate? Have you talked with the lender, see if it makes sense for your situation? Just to refi, not cash out, just to change the basis of your monthly payment. Option A. 2, how's your house? Any shot of moving up, moving down, moving around, because this is the time. Number 3, if they don't want to move up, move down, and move around, then talk about your house right now. Let me get you in touch with some lenders. You might want to consider a cash out. You're probably sitting on 50, 100 grand in equity. You know, uncertainty in the world, not a bad idea to pull it out, right? See what's going on. Leverage it into an investment property. Leverage it and throw it into Bitcoin or gold. Leverage it and sit on it for dry powder to take advantage of an opportunity. Leverage it in case COVID-22 happens and you need to just hunker down, right? These are the conversations, guys, we have to be having, especially with your past clients, especially if you haven't talked with them in over a year and a half and you're embarrassed. Call them and just start out the conversation. Hey, Mike, I feel like an ass. I've been meaning to reach out to you and I just haven't. No excuse, right? I just want to apologize for not reaching out more quickly. And how are you? How are the kids? What's going on in your world? Own up to it, guys, right? That's the biggest problem I see is people feel bad about it and they don't do it. And so, but suck it up. What's the worst that happens? They don't want to talk to you? Oh, well, they're not talking with you right now. There is 0 risk. The only thing is upside for past clients. So guys, you have to. What else you want to add about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the other side of that is one touch point. So that is a great thing to do, and you should be doing that. There are a lot of you that are going to do that today, and then what? Right? You're not going to talk to them again for another month, 2 months, year, 5 years, right? This is what I see so often. So if we really want to get consistent with our sphere, we have to find a way to be able to stay top of mind and stay connected with them on an ongoing basis, which there's a lot of ways to do that. Now, not everyone's on social media, but a lot of them are. So if you have not connected with them on a platform and their platform of choice in a perfect world, so you got to figure that out, right? Go search them on Facebook. Go look at them on Instagram. Go try and find them on Parler, which we can talk about in a little bit. Go find them on Twitter. Go find them on LinkedIn and see where are they most active. Okay, I see that she's most active on Instagram. Great. Now on Instagram, go comment and engage in some of her content. Guess what's going to happen? Her content's going to start showing up in your feed. Now it's making it super easy for you to click the like button, for you to comment, for you to engage. Just casual. Hey, saw it was her, your daughter's birthday. Tell her happy birthday for me. The party looked adorable. Next photos of a meal they ate out. Oh my gosh, it looks delicious. Boom. Now, every single day, or at least multiple times a week, I have a very easy way of staying top of mind with them. Right. And so now, then when I do feel like the time is right, I can hit them with these true one-on-ones because I can send her a DM because I know she's active on Instagram. I've been engaging, so it's not going to feel awkward, and say, hey, by the way, I saw the party this weekend. That looked awesome. What is your interest in? Because I know it's been a while since we did that last deal, but I want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the low rates.
One of my clients, we just dropped their payment down $300, right? You could just do a third-party story.
It could be anything. And it's going to feel far less out of left field if you are constantly engaging, because they're going to be constantly seeing your name, right? And that's the game. But we have to treat each of these platforms as our own sphere, right? Our sphere of influence is we tend to bundle it. They're not all the same. Right? I've got a sphere in my phone. I've got a sphere in my email. I've got a sphere on Facebook, a sphere on Instagram, a sphere on LinkedIn. Now I'm building a sphere on Parler. Like there's all these different spheres of influence, and they're all different. And we have to engage and treat them differently. And it's work.
Let's talk about Parler for a second and what's going on with that.
Yeah. So, here's something that I do pretty regularly, right? And this is just something I started doing a few years back. And So I'll tend to once a week, maybe once every other week, I go into the app store and I just pay attention to the top 200 free apps. So when you open up your app store on your own, if you just start scrolling through, it has a list of the top 200 free apps. And I'll just scroll through there. And most of the time, it's the same apps over and over again. But what I'm looking for is there an app that's in that 40, 50, 60 to 100 range that's a social media app or anything that I think of it could be of interest. And then I watch that, right? And I see, does it continuously move up? So Parler is a great example of that, because when first Parler came out in like 2018, and it wasn't even on anyone's radar. All of a sudden, about maybe 3-4 months ago, I saw it caught my attention. It had broken the top 100 list on the free apps. I'm like, interesting. So I was paying attention to it. Next thing I know, it's at 50 or 60. Then I pay attention, and as of 2 weeks ago, guess what the number one ahead of TikTok in the free app store was? Parler. It's the number one free app that's being downloaded right now. So that tells me that, boom, it's taking fire. Does that mean that it's going to stay there? No. There's been a ton of apps that go there. A lot of people have tried to position Parler as being this, it's for conservatives. It's a social media platform just for conservatives. That's not fair either. But what I will tell you is, whether even if that was the case, I want to remind everyone that Facebook was just for college kids. It's not anymore. TikTok was Musical.ly, which was just for musicians. It's not anymore. So even if Parler started with the intention of being a conservative social media platform, it's not going to be for long if it stays as the number one free downloaded app, because that just doesn't even make sense statistically for it to be there if that was the case.
Well, I think the draw of it seems to be that it's an uncensored platform that you can put and share what you want, and it's not going to censor it. It's not going to take it down, whether 100%. It believes in it or not. It's going to let you be you, which is where the other platforms have stopped being. And I think there's a little resistance on both sides of the aisle. Forget politics, but it's like, hey, if I wanted to say that, let me say that. If I wanted to share that, let me share that.
Yep.
If people want to engage, let them engage. If they don't, let them not. Right. So, and I think that it's more of a censorship than a partisan issues from what I'm seeing, the traction happening on that.
100%. Yeah. For those of you that aren't familiar, Parler is basically, if you download it, you're going to see it is essentially Twitter. It is set up very, very similar to Twitter, right? So it's meant to be, now they give you more characters. So it's meant to be kind of quick thoughts, pictures, video that you can upload, give your thought, but it is completely, to Jeff's point, unbiased, uncensored. So the social media platform itself has said, we don't care what you post. Unless it's illegal, right? They're not going to allow anything illegal. But if it's just a thought, we're not censoring it. We're not fact checking it. We're not doing any of that. And we're not putting their position, their political views on anything. So you can post just about anything and share your perspective. And so it's growing. Now, do I think that they are going to run into some issues with Congress and just, potentially the liabilities? Challenge is going to be, they're going to need a ton of funding. And there's going to be a lot of venture capitalists that are saying, well, wait a minute, if this is the next social media platform and there's ad revenue potential here, sure, we'll invest money. The problem with that is the second that money starts flowing in, they're going to start getting pressure to have to regulate, right? That's what I'm waiting to see, is what happens when because they're going to hit crossroads here pretty soon. But here's the thing. I had an agent ask me, because we were talking about Parler the other day, and they said, well, what if, I don't want to invest too much time in it, because what if it goes away? And my rebuttal to that is always, well, what if you don't and it takes off? Right? So it's always, what are we really talking about here? You spending 10 minutes creating an account and then maybe scrolling through to see what people are posting about, maybe give a couple of posts and see what happens. Guys, I had 0 following the other day. I had like 37 views in like a couple hours. That's the nature of it being a new platform. When you jump on something early, you have a unique advantage. The people that jumped on YouTube back in 2006 and 2007 became millionaires, right? Where everyone else that started channel later, 3 years later, didn't. So there's an advantage to being early. Am I saying go spend all of your time on there? Absolutely not.
No.
Am I saying
Just
go
watch
and
it.
check it out? Yeah, pay attention to it. There's another one on there called I just downloaded. I think it's called MeWe, but it's another social media platform. And again, same thing. I was paying attention to it. It broke the 100. As of this week, was 40 on the free app chart. I'm going to continue to pay attention to it. Maybe something happens, maybe it doesn't. What I can tell you is after going through this election period, there are a lot of people looking for an alternative to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And so if you are leveraged on any of those platforms and that is where you're all in, you are in a vulnerable spot if traction truly does go away from those. So we gotta be smart. We gotta make sure we're engaging. But for right now, those are still all very viable platforms, and we should be leveraging them to engage with our sphere.
Now, when you go through Facebook and Instagram, and you see people saying, "Peace out, I'm out, I'm leaving Facebook, follow me on Parler," right? If you start seeing a lot of that and your sphere is doing that, that's what your tribe's doing. If you want to be relevant and you want to connect with those people, if they're leaving the platform you like and they're going to another platform, make it sort of be on that platform, right? That's what we're saying. If you don't really care, then continue to not care, and that's totally fine. There's plenty of other ways to get business, guys. But those of you who are looking to have social be a core pillar into the future, just eyes wide open, just keep watching and see what's going on. The other thing is,
I just want to add to that real quick though, but don't give up on Facebook either. Do both, right? Because the reality is it's very possible that a bunch of people are going to jump to Parler, not like it as much, and revert back to Facebook, right? We've seen that with Instagram. Think about how many people went from, oh, I don't need Facebook, I have Instagram. Do you know how many people have reverted back to Facebook because Instagram's algorithm changed and they didn't like it? Even though they're technically the same company, they didn't like Instagram as much and they're spending a lot more time on Facebook now than they were before. Don't ever give up on a platform, but just understand that, to Jeff's point, if you see your sphere going and you want to be relevant to them, you have to be there too. It's just the way it works.
And then I think this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Politically, guys, consider not touching it right now. It's just so alienating. I think a lot of people are making big mistakes right now with their going overboard comments on either way on the elections right now. I just think it's such a polarizing topic that you just run into major risk of alienation. Now, some of you like say, I don't care, bring it, I'm good with that. Just make sure it's a conscious decision that you're doing what you're doing right now, right? Whether it's a gloating or a pissed off view or whatever it may be, just know that you're getting 50% agree with you and 50% vilely hate your comment to the point where they might just completely unfriend you and just walk away from you. So there's no middle ground right now. This is an extremely sensitive issue. I had a really interesting Uber ride to Tampa last night when I was going to the game, and I've never seen, I mean, just strangers just extremely passionate about it. It's interesting what's going on. So you have an extremely emotionally charged world at this moment. So just consider what's going on. Regina's typing in neutrality. If you're going to be a business, I think you might consider that. Or if you want to say all in, attract or repel, then have at it. Just consider the consequences at this time in the history of the world. It's unique. What do you want to say about that, Puma?
I think, it's common sense, right? You just have to make a decision on what's right for you and your business. What I will say though is I always like to go against the grain a little bit, as far as if everyone, if your feed is being filled up with politics as much as mine is, then you also have to assume that everyone else's is too. And so how do you stand out? Well, think about it, right? When in Facebook's early days, everyone was posting photos. When videos got posted, they got a lot more traction. Why? Because they stood out. And so for me, I always like to go against what everyone else is doing. And so if everyone else is talking about politics, I don't want to talk about politics. Or if we do, we want to do it in a neutral, funny way, which is what we tried to do last week with a couple of posts. Sure, we want to be relevant to what's going on in the world. Politics are naturally what's going on. The election is what was going on last week, but we're not taking sides, right? We're just making light of the situation, trying to make people laugh and give them something different, bring them value, distract them away from the distraction of politics, right? Because their feed is filled with it just like yours is. So give them something different. Talk about something else. I don't care what it is. Give them advice, give them help, talk about something random, but anything other than politics that they see, they're going to want to engage in because they're fed up and tired of seeing all these political posts just as much as you are. They're human beings. So give them something different.
One thing I want to talk about today too is really important. And this might, when you and I do our strategy meeting later on today, I want to talk about the difference between payments and price. Okay. Because I think this is the relevant topic with your sphere right now. And certainly your past clients, but definitely your sphere. And what I mean by that is people are buying payments, they're not buying price, right? And we gotta markedly show the difference between the two. So, for example, a $350,000, we'll do a visual on this one later. A $350,000 house at a rate in the near 2.5%, right? Which we're almost there. Just quick math is $1,100 a month. A $300,000 house at 4.5%, which we were at not that long ago, and we will be back to again. The payment is $1,200 a month, right? So 350 at in the high twos is cheaper than a 300 at 4.5%. So people saying I'm not going to pay 350 for a house. Well, you're a freaking idiot because doesn't matter what your house is. It matters that it's $1,100 a month, right? Rather than 1,250. So those of you who have buyers saying, I'm not paying an extra $8,000, they can kiss my ass. You need to say, stop it, right? You're not buying price right now. You're buying payment, right? You're not buying payment. You're not buying price. So it doesn't matter. As long as it appraises, you should be just doing backflips right now that you got that house at this low interest rates at that low payment, because it changes. Because when the market does shift back, and rates are 4.5% versus 2.875 lock that you just get today, it's a huge difference. You are so much further ahead of the game as far as what your payments are, what your value is, what your ability to keep that as a rental into the future is amazing. So I think we're going to come up with a really great graphic showing that it's not about price, it's about payment and the differences between these two. And for you to reach out to your sphere and say, guys, if you're even remotely considering a purchase in the next year and a half, right, I need you to pay attention right now. You have to. I'm not going to let you not buy right now. I need you to call me. I need you to send me a message. I need you to shoot me a text. We have to have a consultation. We have to have a chat, because I don't care if it's not perfectly aligned for you right now. If you can buy right now and you're not, then you're stupid, right? And we need to say this in the nicest way possible you want to say it. But guys, you got to get this message across, because if you could buy right now and you're not, it's dumb. It's just absolutely dumb. If you're renting a property right now and you have the ability to buy at 2.8 fixed rates and you're not, then there's something mentally wrong with a screw in your head. Okay. Then somebody hasn't advised you properly. Somebody needs to tell you that this isn't 100% your best interest. I don't care if the house is a piece of crap and you never really want to live in it. Buy it, because you're building wealth. You're building assets. Keep it as a rental, right? Buy it. Grab a buddy, form an LLC, buy it together. Keep it as an investment property. If you're not buying today and you can buy today, it's dumb, okay? If you could afford a nicer house for the same payment, you're dumb not to do that right now. Because when things appreciate, it's worth more and your payment's less. Come on, guys. Come on, right? You have to get this point across. If you can move up right now and you're not, that's dumb.
Yeah,
doesn't make any
and
sense.
I think the point of really leveraging the payment over the total price is a huge. It's one that's been being done in the car industry forever.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I don't care if it's $100,000 car. I have an idea of what I want to spend a month, and if you can get that car at this payment, I don't care how much it costs. Right. So at the end of the day, That's how everyone's minds work. And especially if you're focusing or working with first-time home buyers, what were they just doing? They're renting, right? More than likely. And what do renters do? Renters don't care about price. The price of the house is irrelevant, right? They have a monthly budget that they want to spend on rent, and they want to stay within that range. So what are we doing if we come to them and say, hey, I know you were spending $2,000 a month in rent. These are homes. Let's go look at homes that are going to be about $2,000 a month with the current rates. And they're going to be blown away at what they can get, right? But now we're speaking their language. If I go to that same renter and say, hey, let's go look at $400,000 homes, and they're sitting there going, what? I went from renting to buying almost a $500,000 house. No way. I can't do that. I can't afford that. That's what's going on in their head. But if you go to them and say, hey, let's go look at homes, it's the same amount you were paying in rent. Are you comfortable with that? Were you able to? Yes. Okay, great. Let me go show you what that gets you in a home right now. They're going to be blown away. But now it's all about speaking their language, right? You're going to completely overwhelm them with price. You won't overwhelm them with payment, because that's how our brains work. Even with my wife, she hates spending money. But if I go to her with payment versus price, she doesn't care. It could be $1 million. But if it's as long as the payment's the same and where she wants it to be, we're good.
It's a comfort zone. Everyone has a comfort zone. And then, guys, make it okay that the house isn't beautiful, right? Especially for your first timers, guys, right? Because everyone's first house, they want the picket fence and the beautiful yards and the flowers. The reality of it is, it's probably not that, right? It might be a rundown house with nasty ass windows and the paint's peeling off and it hasn't gonna have any love. Great, right? Because you're still buying payment, you're buying depreciation, you're buying interest, you're buying tax deductions, you're buying major changes on your end of the year tax returns, right? So, and there's nothing a couple cans of paint and a palm tree and some mulch can't do to a house, right? So be the advisor and talk people, buy an ugly house, guys. It's okay. Especially these renovation loans we have right now, guys. 15% down on a reno loan to buy the ugliest house and make it pretty. Come on, right? I mean, what a time we have. What an amazing market we have going on right this moment. It's really awesome. And I just want to make sure you guys are paying attention to it. So my mission today is to get you to reach out to your sphere. Video is the best because they want to see you. They want to hear you. They like you, right? That's just the interaction that you want. But I'm saying with passion, you need to do a public service announcement of saying, guys, this is not gonna last. Warning, pay attention. If in 2021, there's one of your bucket list items for 2021 is to bigger house, smaller house, different house, then you need to call me today. Because if you don't lock in right now, you're gonna miss the boat, right? That's the type of message that I want to see on all of your feeds today, right? Shove it out there, throw that, engage. What's your rent payment? Just something. Send a private one to your friends. Do the past clients, do your sphere, and just stay out there, okay? And especially, and I said the last thing is your future past clients, which means your next deals, right? Think about the people that you're leveraging. What if you did a public service announcement into the Indian Rocks Beach group or the Fishhawk group or the Lakewood Ranch group or the downtown Sarasota group and say, hey, all my friends that live right by me here in downtown Sarasota, I know you got life going on, there's a lot of distractions, but let's talk about your house for a second. If your payments, right, you get it, up, down, move around, get the whole thing. If you're not taking advantage of this right now, you just haven't been realizing that you need to pay attention to this right now. This is a generational opportunity to lock in wealth. And that's what I want you guys to do. That's my message. That's my passionate message.
If you have clients that you're working with right now to either buy or even sell, do you know one of the most popular shows on HGTV outside of $1 Million Listing is The Home Buyers, right? So you can easily take people, your sphere, potential future clients, on that journey with you if you just grab your phone and document. When you're showing homes with your buyers, obviously get their permission, go live and say, hey, I'm here with Joe and Cindy. They're first-time home buyers of mine. It's been a challenge because we're in a seller's market. But this is what we're looking for. They're trying to take advantage of these rates, and take them with you, right? Take your sphere with you. Document the process. Show the journey, because then when you actually close, when Joe and Cindy close on that house, and you're able to show people the whole process from taking them to showings to actually helping them buy that dream house, you're going to take people on that journey with you. They're going to engage in it. They're going to relate to it, and they're going to call you because of it. So this isn't hard. You don't need a camera crew. You got your phone. You just have to be willing to actually go live and document the process. Now,
Look what Jackie just posted. Look at what Jackie just
I didn't
posted.
see it.
She just said she just took one of her. She just took one of her customers' payments down to 207 down. She saved them $275 a month from walking them into a refi.
Yep. So you just muted yourself, Jeff. So if Jackie though makes a post right now on social that says, "What would you do with an extra $275 a month?" right, in a graphic, and then puts that story of how she did it and why she did it and how she was able to do it, and tells that story on social, boom, she's going to get more business because of it. It's a simple thing, right? Just from being a good agent, just from doing her job, she just tells a story, because you all have stories to tell. We are in a world where stories matter. It's why you are hooked on that television show that you're hooked on, right? You don't watch that Netflix series for the hell of it. You're watching it because it's got a storyline that is keeping you engaged. Tell stories. That's what gets people to actually engage. That's what keeps people following you. That's what's going to get them to call you when they're ready. So that's what I have for today. I know we're going to kind of cut this short because Jeff has got to go as well. And I know you guys have a week ahead of you, because you're all going to go out and execute on everything we just talked about this morning.
No doubt. Guys, have fun this week. Have fun this week. Just talk to people, guys. Break up the monotony of the craziness. Stress has been everywhere. Just help people. Have some fun. And reach out and let us know what you guys need.
If we're here, if you need anything, we're here for you. So reach out and go crush it. Have a great